Okay, hey Josh, just to give you a heads up, we're going to start about 5 minutes early, so give you another 5 to do whatever you need to do, and then we're going to go. Thank you. Okay, we are ready. Okay, the order, we're live streamed now, it's on, so this event is going out to anybody that got the link. So we're live on TV. Okay, the order of induction, just to review quickly, is alphabetical, just like it is in your program. After the first 4 inductions, we'll have a raffle drawing. Then we'll do 3 more, have another raffle drawing, do 3 more, and have the final raffle drawing. As you know, if you bought tickets, there are raffles. There are 3 different groups. So, here we go. Now it's all serious. Gordon Ando. Gordon graduated from Oroville High School in 1956. He played football in his freshman and sophomore years, was block home member for 4 years, was on the Tiger Tales newspaper staff as a junior and a senior, and worked for the Mercury Register as a paperboy. Following OHS, he worked for Courier Brothers and then had a 13-year stint as an engineering aide and the right-way agent for the Department of Water Resources during the construction of the Oroville Dam. He then went on to business for himself, establishing Northern Appraisal Services, a highly successful business that he operated for over 30 years. Born and raised in Oroville, Gordon's lifelong ambition was to make his hometown a better place for his family and his friends to live. His service to Oroville was extensive and continues to this day. He served as city mayor 1999 to 07. And among many things, enabled Oroville to be the first solar city in America. Bringing the Northwest Lineman College to Oroville may have been one of his notable achievements as mayor. While a board member for the Sewage Commission, Oroville Region SCORE, the nation's first solar-powered water waste treatment plant, was constructed, saving customers over $300,000 annually. Another chairmanship saw him run the Oroville Joint Powers Agreement Committee that negotiated the agreement to relicense the Oroville Dam with funding for Riverbend Park. One of Gordon's proudest contributions was serving as president of the Oroville Area Sports Initiative Supporters, OASIS, formed in 2010 to make improvements on Harrison Stadium. He spearheaded the passing of Measure G, which raised $12 million towards the improvements. OASIS has continued to function as a nonprofit, raising money to help maintain the stadium. He serves as OASIS president to this very day. In addition to his many community projects, Gordon found time to support his son's involvement in sports. As president of Oroville Little League, coached his sons and served as a deacon in his father's church. Gordon married his OHS sweetheart, Jane, and they raised 2 sons, Todd and Eric. After 64 years of marriage, they continue to live here. Unfortunately, Gordon not able to be with us tonight as he has pneumonia. So please welcome Trevor Ando into the as he will come up and accept for his dad into the Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame. Trevor?
Sorry, excuse me. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Trevor Ando. I'm Gordon's grandson. Kind of thrown at me last minute here, so bear with me, guys. We were hoping we'd get him here, but certain circumstances didn't happen. So first of all, I want to say it's a great honor to be able to come up here and accept this for my grandfather. As you can tell from his introduction in the slideshow, Gordon was involved in countless community organizations, and wasn't a member, just a namesake. He poured 110% into every endeavor. One of Gordon's favorite accomplishments, which was said, was the Lineman College, which is out there located near the airport. According to the president of the college, Aaron Howe, the Lineman's College would not have been located in Oroville if it wasn't for my grandfather, Gordon. Gordon was instrumental in securing Oroville as a location, and to this day they have graduated approximately 8,000 students and have spent over $72 million in our community. Even though many people appreciate what Gordon has done for our town, it is Gordon who is extremely grateful for those of you who supported him along the way. He has worked with some wonderful, kind, and generous people and will forever be indebted to you. Gordon would also like to thank his family, and especially Jane, Grandma, his wife of 64 years. Without her support and encouragement, he couldn't have persevered. And he would also like to apologize to her for all those missed dinners. But our grandchildren are thankful for those because we got the leftovers, right? Gordon's ambition in high school was to actually own an inboard boat, But even though he never met that goal, he spent his whole life focusing on his family and making Oroville a better place for them to live. And I, for one, am extremely grateful for his ambition and change. Thank you, you guys. Appreciate it.
Tell Garden I wish him everything. He's a great man.
Thank you.
Next inductee, Clarence Brandt. Clarence was raised on a dairy farm in Durham, along with 5 brothers and 2 sisters. He attended Durham High School, where he excelled in football and basketball. Upon graduation, he was contacted by the AAA Sacramento Solons to pitch for them. He was also offered a scholarship to play football at Oregon State, but his father declined for him, saying he was needed on the farm to pitch hay and milk cows. Clarence started his career as a railroad carman at the Sacramento Northern Railway as they needed a pitcher for their baseball team. He later was employed by Western Pacific Railroad, also pitching for them and relocating to Oroville in 1941. Clarence loved kids and felt that through sports, he could help them learn lessons that would lead them to happier and more productive lives. Gary Nolan, Oroville's most successive Major League Baseball player, says that his most fun baseball days came from his days playing with Mr. Brandt and his beloved Indian Little League team. Other Oroville boys who, under the guidance of Clarence, went on to play professional baseball were Kevin Brown, Dave Hudgens, Jim Lauer, Stephen Campbell, Clarence's grandson, Nick Brandt, and players who returned to Oroville to coach were Jim Lauer and Scott Johnson. In the early 50s, Clarence, along with Sheriff Larry Gillig, Bob Duggar, and Jim Clough, were the key coaches behind the formation of Oroville Little League. Clarence spent 43 years volunteering his time to Oroville Little League and transporting Oroville High baseball players, driving the bus to all the away games, all volunteer time. Honors for Clarence: he was named Good Neighbor of the Year by the Oroville Jaycees. He was named Man of the Year by the Oroville Chamber of Commerce. Inducted into the Northern California Sports Association Hall of Fame, and the Little League field down at 3rd and Mitchell is called Brandt Field. Clarence passed away on November 17th, 2001 at age 88. He and wife Louise, of 67 years, had 4 children, 5 grandchildren, 9 great-grandchildren, each of whom went through Oroville High School. His great-grandson Tyler is currently a teacher and a coach at Las Plumas High School. Please welcome Tyler, who will accept for his induction for his great-grandfather, Tyler Brandt.
Good evening. First, I'd like to say what an honor it is to be up here accepting this Hall of Fame induction for my great-grandfather on behalf of the Brandt family. As a coach myself, he has always been one of the biggest inspirations to me in my life and in my career. I'd also like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for believing that his impact in our community was worthy of the OUHSD Hall of Fame. One of my favorite quotes, I'm going to start out with a quote. One of my favorite quotes is from Jackie Robinson, and he said that a life is unimportant except for the impact that it has on other lives. If this is true, my great-grandpa truly lived a life of importance. Through his 43 years coaching Oroville Little League, he taught the fundamentals of the game that he loved. He thought that through sport, kids could learn lessons that would make them happier and more productive members in society. And through his years, he served the community in many ways. Coaching might be what he's best remembered for, but there was a lot more. As we already heard in 1956, Good Neighbor of the Year, and also Man of the Year by the Chamber of Commerce. When I asked my grandpa, Sonny Brandt, what kind of man his dad was, he said this: Dad was the type of man that when anybody called and needed help, he wouldn't hesitate. He would just go, as where I would probably finish watching the game. Me too, Grandpa. Later in life, he drove Oroville High School buses for teams, baseball and football, to away games as he continued to serve his community. The impact was felt throughout the community in many places, and some former players and players that he coached against still tell stories about him today. I have another story I'd like to say. A few years ago, my cousin had a guest over at his house. Guest was kind of looking around, saw a picture of great-grandpa up on the shelf. And he says, "How are you related to that guy?" He said, "That was my great-grandpa." He said, the guy started to tear up. He said, "How did you know my great-grandpa?" He goes, "I love that man. There was nobody at that time coming across town to our side of town and giving little boys rides to the games. And that was Clarence." Clarence believed every kid deserved to have a chance to play. Another story I learned about while putting together his nomination was an article published in the San Francisco Chronicle. They honored Clarence for being a part of what they call the 10-gallon club. And during World War II, he donated over 10 gallons of his own blood to help save wounded soldiers. His blood was directly used in saving a Marine's life, and that was also Clarence. My dad wrote this at his funeral in 2001, and it was one of my favorite quotes I've ever heard. He said, "To grow up under the shade of the biggest tree in the forest is a very calming thing." I still remember the family dinners every weekend at his house, the incredible Easter Sundays held in his yards that were worthy of Better Homes and Garden magazine. And at the end of the day, there was Grandpa with his cash box and a big smile ready to pay out the kids for their money eggs. A calm yet commanding presence, a very generous man with his time and money. He truly was a man that impacted so many lives. When he passed away in 2001, and everybody had shared stories about his remarkable life, they asked if anybody else would like to give up and say a word. At the time, I was 18 years old, but I knew I wanted to say something. So I got up with my grandma, walked to the microphone, and simply said, "Grandpa, I hope that I can be like you someday." 22 years later, as a teacher and a coach myself now in this community for 14 years, I'm still saying, I hope I can be like you someday. I'd like to give a special thank you to Grandpa and Grandma, Barbara and Sonny Brandt, who helped me put this together with articles and pictures. It wasn't easy to find a whole bunch of them. It's been so long, and a special thank you to Ray Seahorn, who helped me get the ball rolling on a nomination under Community Merit. I think this Hall of Fame night is great for our community, great for this town, and I just want to say one more time, thanks for everybody that had a part in making tonight possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. The next two are related, and this is a first. We have a student, and her induction will be followed by her high school teacher. And they're still playing music together. Teresa Terry Cote. Terry graduated from Las Plumas High School in 1987. Was a member of the Water Ski Club, the band, and the leader of the award-winning drum corps. She performed at numerous parades, concerts, and festivals, as well as benefit concerts with the Marcy Brothers. Terry began playing the drums seriously at age 13, although she knew she wanted to be a drummer at age 7, creating her first drum set with pots, pans, Tupperware, wooden spoons, and a Folgers coffee can as her throne. She jammed with her early influences, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Michael Jackson, and Prince. At 14, she began playing professionally with the Marcy Brothers, who were signed with Warner Brothers. They were the opening act for the Oak Ridge Boys and Johnny Cash, to name a few. After high school, she moved to Scottsdale, Arizona, graduated with the Allure Infinite Beauty College, and also had a very creative, artistic custom furniture business called Something Southwest. She also worked as a hairstylist, as well as playing in a band led by country music legend Glenn Campbell's music director. She and Los Plumas band director Glenn Dawson often co-wrote songs. During this time, she became well-known as an up-and-coming drummer, meeting and playing with many famous songwriters and artists in the music business. From '03 to '17, Terry performed in many different states in Europe with the David Cassidy Band as a drummer and vocalist. Over the years, she also performed with other bands in Japan, Asia, Australia, the United Kingdom, and Canada. Terry is not only a highly talented professional drummer, but has written songs with megastars, taught at band camps, and done illustrations for children's books. She also is a visual artist, working on acrylics on canvas, jewelry, paper mache, and graphic design. Throughout her highly successful career, Terry has performed with numerous famous musicians, David Cassidy, guitarist Clint Strong, Bo Diddley, and Will Nelson, to name a few. Tracy and her husband, an associate professor in the percussion department at Berklee College of Music, make their home in Boston, where she continues playing music in bands, owns and runs a drum shop, where she also teaches drums, owns a custom jewelry business, continues creating art, illustrating and publishing children's books, continues her education attending classes at Berklee College of Music. Please welcome Terry Cote, all the way from Boston, Massachusetts, into the Oroville Union High School Hall of Fame class of 2023.
Oh, okay. I have my notes. I'd like to say I feel very fortunate and extremely lucky of a human being. And I wouldn't actually be standing here if it wasn't for many very special people who are here tonight, actually, who helped me immensely through my life, especially through my high school days. And actually, there's a few here that have continued to help me in my life since then. And I would like you guys to raise your hands when I mention your name, if you don't mind. So one person I'd like to thank who's deceased is Jane Nelson. She was very helpful to me early in my high school days. Jane Hammer, who's also deceased. Glenn and Carolyn Dawson, who are here tonight. Lee and Richard Wood, who are also here tonight, sitting at table 10. The Marcy brothers you saw, or actually he mentioned that I worked with them for many years. They were my family to me, very much so, during the years. And Sid and Sandy Marcy meant the world to me. Sandy's no longer with us, but Kevin Marcy is sitting here with us tonight, and he means the world to me and has always been very special to me as family. So thank you for coming. And I have a friend here who was a very good friend of mine through high school, and we related a lot on a lot of topics and helped each other get through a lot of hard times, and that's Tanya Paul. And last but not least, I have a very dear friend of mine who is not from this area. Well, he's from Shasta, and he happens to be here tonight, and he's one of those people that continues to help me in my life and is also very important to me. All of these people have become my family, and that's Scotty Riak. And I'd like to thank Ray and the committee, the Hall of Fame committee, for acknowledging me and honoring me with this. I'm completely honored, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Next, her teacher at Las Plumas High School, Glenn Dawson, being inducted as a Oroville Union High School District employee. Glenn had an illustrious 33-year career in the Oroville Union High School District, teaching fine arts, guitar, music appreciation, jazz choir, jazz ensemble concert, and marching band. Working primarily at Las Plumas High School, but also spent time at Oroville High Independent Study and Challenge Charter High School. His outstanding work with the Las Plumas Band later and combined Schools Alliance Band is what he is best known for, but he co-founded the Las Plumas Water Ski Club, advised the school's snow club on ski trips, and worked with other fundraisers. He also found time to write the charter for Challenge Charter High School from '98 to '04 and worked there as an administrator, teacher, janitor, and repairman. Some of Glenn's major contributions to Oroville Union High School District. He founded the Las Plumas Band Festivo. How many remember the Festivo? Ooh, yeah. He led the LP Marching Band on a 10-day trip to Sydney, Australia. He led the LPHS Band's performance at the World's Fair in Brisbane, Australia, the Band Booster Club raising over $300,000 for that trip. He led the LP Band to Oahu, Hawaii for a 5-day tour teaching and performing at schools on the island. In 1991, he combined the high school's music program, creating the Las Plumas Oroville Music Program so all community students could participate in an improved and united experience. In 1994, he arranged for the LP Oroville Band to attend the Citrus Bowl Parade in Florida. Glenn received numerous honors and awards during his career, among them the Golden Gifts to Education. Along with wife Carolyn, served as Grand Marshal of the Feather Fiesta Days Parade, served as guest speaker and performer at the National Center for Education and Economy in Washington, D.C. Glenn continues to perform with local bands at community dances, events, and businesses. He and Carolyn donate monthly to the Oroville Hope Center, helping the homeless and people in need of community. One homeless student who they housed in their home for 2 years graduated from Las Plumas High School and is now a corporate lawyer for a major manufacturing and marketing company. Glenn and Carolyn make their home in Oroville. Please welcome Glenn Dawson into the Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame, class of 2023.
If Terry and I look a little tired tonight, it's because we picked her up at the airport on Wednesday and we've been playing music every night ever since. And after you play a concert, you can't just sit down and go to sleep. You have to sit home and talk about everything, So Ray and Nancy were at one of the concerts and they said, "You're going to have a great time tonight." So when does that start? I tell you. Thank you to Ray Seahorn and to all the Hall of Fame committee members for this recognition. Truly, I could not have done all those bullet points without having a team behind me to help. And I'm going to kind of describe some of those team members for you tonight. First of all, my wife, Carolyn. Raise your hand. She has been beside me for 45 years, volunteering a lot of her time as the band's auxiliary flag team unit person until we finally got a stipend for her. She would work all day at Palermo School and then drive over to Las Plumas and do my flag team and stuff for me. And that was all volunteer for quite a while. So we've always worked together as one person, basically. So she deserves this honor just as much as I do. I have to acknowledge the support of all the Band Booster Club parents that were with me during those years in the marching band section and everything I did. They were totally instrumental in raising funds for the program and helping run the band festival that we put on every year, working in smoky bingo games, raising money, holding rubber ducky races, and even a cow Patty Pie bingo game at Harrison Stadium to raise money for the band. I also want to thank the whole entire community and area of Oroville for how they donated to our band and attended all of our events. It was really important to us students to have those people there. And a lot of people came from out of town to see Oroville from other bands and stuff, and I think that really helped our community a lot. I hope it did. Other behind-the-scene members that are at table 11 tonight are definitely part of my team, and I'll start with my father, who instilled in his his sons hard work, do it right, or don't do it at all. And yeah, and anyway, they're here tonight with, my father is not, but he was the retired Paradise Fire Marshal, and he always said before the fire happened, a lit match on a windy day, and he was right. So also, my mother always called me Dennis the Menace. And Carolyn was always wondering who that was. But I believe in being the naughty student helped me to work with other students kind of who had a little more energy and help me understand them and motivate them a little bit better. So yeah, it was kind of fun. When I was developing the digital arts program at Los Pumas High School, I can't tell you how many times I became so frustrated with computers. But I was always able to call up my older brother, Lloyd Dawson, who is a computer expert. Raise your hand, Lloyd, since we're raising hands now. And he was always able to save me and get the problem solved on those computers. Also, my younger brother, Wayne, is here tonight. He is a contractor. He has helped me immensely repair my homes and build my homes and everything else. And today, he's up in Paradise rebuilding Paradise. Wayne. Also, Carolyn's family has always been a big support. Her dad is a retired music teacher from Willows, and her family has gone on many of these trips to Australia and all over the world to chaperone the students, and they've always been very helpful with that. Also, tonight, her sister Jill is here, and she's kind of the rock of the family. She's just solid all the time, you know. Am I right, Carolyn? Her husband, Mike, is here. He's a retired police officer from the Salinas Police Department who also has very, very good computer skills and building skills, which I've taken advantage of often. And yes, I had a crash course in becoming the father of a teenage daughter. Michelle Santos is here tonight, and she's an inspiration. That's all I can say. Want to mention a few other people recording arts. Am I over time? Okay. All right. So I guess I'm done. I had a lot of other people to mention. That's okay. I'll quit there. Thank you very much.
I had a long ago connection with Carolyn, Glenn's wife. Carolyn's dad and my mom were music teachers together in Willows, and my mom was Jill's piano teacher and kindergarten teacher. So, hi, Jill. Okay, time for raffle drawing number 1.
First, I'd like to thank everybody who purchased tickets, and I know I'm short, that purchased tickets, and thank all of the businesses that contributed these wonderful baskets that we have out there and products, and I hope you all take advantage of shopping in Oroville. I don't know who put the Staples red ticket in the bag, but you didn't win. So this is for the very first, the very first bag out there, which was, I think, 4 baskets and sharps, locksmithing, and all that sort of stuff. So the number is 113-821. Up there, Lori. You don't have to come up here, Lori. No, you don't. We got you. All right. Back to Ray.
God, we got a Hall of Famer that won. Congratulations, Lori. Richard Bruce Fry, age 100. First person 100 years old to be inducted into our Hall of Fame. Dick graduated from Oroville High School in 1940. Played basketball for 3 years, tennis as a senior, was a member of Block O. He was in the journalism class his last 2 years and sports editor of the Tiger Sports Mirror Sports as a senior. He was class vice president as a junior and member of the class executive committee, sang in the Glee Club for 3 years, and played in the band. During his senior year, he wrote sports for the Mercury Register and was paid 10 cents an inch for his stories. He enrolled at San Jose State in 1943 and then was drafted into the Army Air Corps. He served 2 years as an air traffic controller in the China-Burma India Theater. He was honorably discharged in 1946, returned to San Jose State, earning his degree in journalism. Dick's journalism career was launched in 1947 when he began working as a reporter at United Press International in Reno. He was there for a year and then served as manager of the UPI Bureau in Olympia, Washington for 4 years. Moved to Pullman, Washington in 1952 when he became editor for Washington State College Alumni Magazine. He was editor of their magazine until 1957 when he became sports information director at newly named Washington State University, a position he held for the next 13 years. In 1970, he became manager for the WSU News Bureau, where he remained for 15 years, retiring in 1985 from a storied career at the university. In 1989, Dick authored his first book, The Crimson and the Gray, 100 Years with the Cougars, and it's considered the Bible of Washington State University athletics. On February 12, 2023, the mayor of Pullman declared City of Pullman Dick Fry Day. Whereas Dick Fry, a certifiable legend in Pullman and throughout Washington State University Cougar Nation, he will be 100 years old and is a living example that ink in one's veins has sustaining power. From Cougar.com, Dick Fry never completed a pass for Washington State, never made a basket, never hit a baseball, never coached, never ran the athletic department. That said, it may not be far off to say Fry is one of the most memorable and important people to ever come through Washington State sports scene. Dick was born on February 12, 1923. Makes his home in Pullman. His sister, Beryl Fry. How many of you remember Beryl Fry, the kindergarten teacher? Yeah. Was his sister, a legendary kindergarten teacher in Oroville for many years. He has 2 sons, Kevin and Jim, and a daughter, Chris. Dick will now address us via video.
Well, my name is Richard Bruce Fry, but everybody over the years has called me Dick. I don't know whether my mother approved of that, but she thought Richard Bruce was a nice name. Anyway, I was born February 12, 1923 in Oroville, and my older sister, Beryl, was 16 when I was born. Beryl said it was a dark and stormy night that I arrived, And I was really kind of a surprise, you know, because my mother was just 2 months shy of her 40th birthday. My sister Burl is Berryl, and I spell that because my brother's name was Gerald, and it's Jeyryl. Anyway, my second sister was Bethel Fry, and she was 3 years younger than Burl, so she was about 13 when I was born, and Jerry was 10 years older. One of my first memories is breaking my leg at age 7. Harold Fat Ogle ran over me with his bicycle and snapped my right leg, a compound fracture it was, and of course in those years, a very, very serious thing. But I had a great old doctor, Dr. Newbold. I think I remember about him most was he's a great cigar smoker, and none of our family ever smoked. And Doc Newbold would come in, and he wouldn't smoke in the house, but he would leave his cigar. I remember one time he put it up on the railing there in the middle room. And when he came in to talk to my dad and examine my leg. Anyway, 3 months or so later, the leg had healed and I was ready to go. Well, where am I now? I'm in 1933. Well, as you know, the Depression was on pretty much. Our family was pretty much Republican all the way. I think I was the only kid wearing a Hoover button at East Side School in 1932. And everybody else not only were for Roosevelt, but they had repealed the 18th Amendment on the bumper of the car. 18th Amendment was booze, you know. And here the Fry family was, except for my grandmother. My grandmother was a Democrat, a Roosevelt fan from the word go. She loved his voice. She loved his talk. She was the only one. Later, the family moved to Oroville, and Pop and Uncle Bruce were in sort of a taxi type business there. And one of Pop's great stories was he was driving these, you know, people would call for rides and stuff, and he was at the Western Pacific Depot when the train came in from up the canyon to pick up Ishi. Now, if you kind of wonder what's with Ishi, Ishi was the last of the Yahi Indians. He had been found destitute at the Oroville slaughterhouse, looking for food, I would presume. This was pretty early in the century, but he turned out to be, as I mentioned, the last of the Yahi Indian tribes. And if you go back and look at the books, there's a big book on Ishi written by, well, it was the background was done by the anthropologists at the University of California, but their daughter did the famous book on Ishi. Now I veer off here for a second because one of my classmates at Oroville Union High School was a big, tall half-miler by the name of Bob Martin. And he was a swarthy fellow, and later, of course, why it came to pass that he was actually a relative, his mother, on his mother's side of Ishi. That was Bob's claim to fame, and he was very proud of the fact. And I mentioned that kind of on the side because I was going to get into the very international flavor of my high school graduation class, and Bob Martin qualifies as our American Indian. We had kids from Spain, Portugal, Italy, Germany, of course, Japan and China. We had a lot of those there, people whose family came to work on the Western Pacific Railroad. The class of 40 started the carnival in high school. And one of the features of that was Bruno Giovannone, who had come to the U.S. from Italy as a 5-year-old. The guy was, from the get-go, he was so talented. Anyway, Bruno was just very creative. And do you know what he did for that first carnival? He built a machine that made cotton candy. The first time I ever saw it, and I think about half the people who attended that carnival on the old football field there in Oroville, which was just off a Yard Street, Bruno was an immediate hero, for goodness sake, for having done that. The only thing I want to add is that I and my 2 wives, Bea and Marilyn, encouraged me to go back to my high school reunions with them. And eventually we went to 70 years. That was our 70th anniversary. After all of this ad-libbing, I just want to thank Jim Mall and Ray Seahorn for thinking me in terms of the Oroville Union High School Class of 40 Hall of Fame. I'm truly grateful, and to all of my 40 classmates, I apologize that they had to pick me for this, because some of you are much more deserving.
Oh, is that just 100 years old? I talked to him on the phone. I thought I was talking to a teenager. I mean, he's amazing. I got to tell you a little bit of a story, though. I was having lunch with Jim Mall one day, and Jim was talking about going up to Pullman, Washington, and he's going to meet an old friend who's going to turn 100. Jim was a student at Washington State when Dick was there. So I asked Jim, I said, where'd he go to school? He says, went to Oroville High. I said, what? I said, really? And I said, okay, you got a mission. I says, you talk to this guy after he's whatever celebration you're going to do. And I says, you get everything you can from him about his days at Oroville High School. So Jim, about a week later, brings me a box. Everything from every reunion he'd ever attended, everything was absolutely unbelievable. So you wonder where we find people. That's how we found Dick Fry. Pretty amazing, yeah. The next inductees are a couple. Very familiar name to all of you, I'm sure. Barney and Catherine Gabriel. Barney and his wife, Catherine, are being inducted together as their business success was truly a team effort. Both graduated from Oroville High School, Barney circa 1932 and Catherine in 1941. Catherine played basketball as a freshman and a sophomore and was in the Glee Club her freshman year. She attended Chico State College, taking business classes that would serve her well in business in later life. Barney used his savings to buy his own shoe sign stand. The two were a team in the truest sense of the word. Barney's parents were one of the first African-American families to arrive in Oroville, coming to town in 1921. Catherine's parents came in 1935. Young Barney and Catherine inherited their parents' optimism and belief in the value and necessity of hard work and independence. They married in 1941, and in 1942, After noticing that the local cab driver spent more time in the bar than helping his customers, Barney decided to start a cab company. He saved money from his shoe shine business and obtained a city license. 1942 also saw the two founding the first yellow cab company in Oroville and were the first African American family in the United States to own a yellow cab company. At first, they operated the business out of their home, eventually moving downtown. Gradually, the business boomed amid the Jim Crow climate that included court battles and harassment. In 1957, the business became the Oroville Bus Lines. Barney and Catherine surpassed their original dream of owning 5 cabs and came out of the 60s with a school bus service and 10 cabs. In 1980, they contracted with the city and county to run the Oroville Area Transit and Senior Citizen Shuttle. By 1993, they had 50 employees working the cabs, 2 city buses, several school buses. The couple worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and an article appeared in the San Francisco Examiner newspaper stating Mrs. Gabriel worked 19-hour days alongside her husband, who would relieve her at night so she could be with their 3 sons and daughter. After 52 years of service, the Gabriels shut down their company. With the entire family involved in the business, Barney found time to devote considerable time and effort to his community. His community service was extensive. On November 5th, 22, the Gabriels were honored by the South Oroville African American Society at a sold-out dinner right here in this room. Catherine passed away in '89 and Barney in 1995. Please welcome Stacy Campbell, who will accept induction for Barney and Catherine.
First of all, how are you guys going to put me behind Dick? Because Dick did it all. Dick did it all. Good evening, everybody. I'm Stacy Campbell. I'm one of the grandchildren of Barney and Catherine Gabriel. And one of the things I want to say is if my grandparents were here tonight, my grandmother would say, Stacy, it was nothing but God. So first off the bat, I want to say thank you to the Lord. And my grandfather would say, Stacy, always be kind and nice to people because they're always looking. And that's one of the reasons that we're here today, because they have been acknowledged. You know. And I want to thank my brother for getting me up here to do this. Because but as I was just going along the week thinking what I was going to get up here and say and think about some of the memories, one of the things I always remembered, I think Tyler Brandt got up here and talked about going to his grandfather's house and playing in the backyard and everything. We didn't get that traditional holidays like around the table with Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter and all those different things, our birthday parties, because we took the party and the celebration to where they were working. I mean, we kept their house company when they were at work because we would go there and, you know, tear things up, but we put it all back in place. But I remember my grandmother, we lived across the street, and we had a big window, and I would look out the window when I got ready to go to school in the morning, and the cars were gone. We would get home, play, get ready for bed that night, look out the window. We would either see they still weren't there, or I would see brake lights going in. So they, like I said, my grandmother worked 19 days. They put in 19 hours. They put in a lot of time and work. I just want to thank everybody, family. I love you. Thank you. And one thing, without the support of family, community, their employees became friends, their friends became employees. I had more aunts, uncles, cousins, because my grandmother was everybody's grandmother. My mom was everybody's aunt or grandmother, you know. So we just want to thank you, and thank you, Oroville Unified School District, for this time and recognition. Thank you. When they closed the barn.
Oh, we get, yay. You can come in, Ray. Or Ron.
Nick Harlan. Nick graduated from Oroville High School in 1996. Played baseball, basketball, all 4 years, football as a freshman. He was a member of Block O basketball team captain, or basketball team captain, All Eastern Athletic League baseball his senior year. He was also a member of the Spirit Week Committee and the Nazarene Church. After graduation, Nick went to Feather River Community College in Quincy. Played first base for 2 seasons, was team captain, received all conference honors, and earned his AA degree. He was then awarded a scholarship to York College in Nebraska, where he played baseball, helped the team set a single season record for wins, and received his BA degree. Nick then returned to Feather River College, where he was assistant baseball coach for 2 years, with the team reaching the California Final Four and awarded the California Pepsi Team Scholar Award with the team's accumulated GPA of 3.4. He also served as associate scout for the Philadelphia Phillies. In 2004, Nick was hired as head baseball coach at York College, where his teams compiled a 325-170 win-loss record over his 9 years there. During his 10 years head coach, his team won 5 conference championships, earned a berth in 5 regional tournaments. The tournament was in the national top 25. The team was in the national top 25 for 4 consecutive seasons, and one of those years ranked number 8 in the nation. In 2013, the Panthers advanced to the NAIA Conference World Series, and Nick was named Conference Coach of the Year. In 2013, he was hired as University of Central Arkansas as the Bears' associate head coach and pitching coach. The team won a school record 42 games, and 4 of Nick's pitchers were taken in the MLB draft. The team also won their conference tournament and advanced to the NCAA regional tournament, falling in the title game and 1 win away from the Super Regional. In 2021, Nick was promoted to head coach. On March 21st, 2023, Nick's Bears played in the Oroville Union High School District Hall of Famer Jay Johnson's LSU Tigers. The game was not only the first ever matchup between those two Division I schools, but also a dream come true for both of those coaches. The last time Nick and Jay shared a field was in 1995 when both were infield for the OHS Tigers. They are the only 2 alumni in Oroville High history to be head baseball coaches at Division I universities. Nick married UKA alumna Lindsay Spivey in 2014, and they share a home in Conway, Arkansas, with their daughter Hazel and son Walker. Please welcome Nick Harlan into the Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame, class of 2023.
Wow. Thank you, Ray, Coach Johnson, and the Oroville Union High School District. This is a great honor for me, and I'm very humbled to be inducted with this group. It's a very special group, and I think we can all share in that feeling tonight. So very, very thankful for that. I came into town. I hadn't been in town for quite some time, and I drove through town yesterday, and it was special. I took yesterday and today, I took the long way everywhere I went so I could see all the old familiar places and homes and all those things. And I went by Brant Field. You could see Coach Brant was with me in the Oroville All-Stars. I went by Brant Field. It was great, and I see some of the Brants here. I was raised with the Brants. My Uncle Dwayne was a part of Oroville Sting. And I got to sit in the dugout, and I got to watch Nick Brant hit home runs. But you didn't want to see him strike out. I promise you that. But I was raised with the people here in this room, and I see a lot of familiar faces, and I'm so grateful for that. I think in life, you look for patterns, and I believe that when you find those patterns, you learn great lessons from people. And I've had tremendous patterns in my life. We talk about coaches. I've been very fortunate to be a coach for 23 years. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the players that chose to play in our programs and for the coaches along the way. So I'm very grateful for them, and they put their trust in me and our staff. But I think about our coaches, and, there's some of those coaches that are in this room, and Coach Scott Johnson, who had believed in me. These coaches, they truly believed in me. And they believed that I was capable. They believed that I could accomplish something great. And Coach would tell me, Nick, you can do this. You're capable. Just go out, just play catch. Play the game the right way. And I remember Coach Johnson and Coach Smots pulling me aside and telling me, that when I fielded the baseball, I looked like Wally. Wally was my Uncle Dwayne. And they said, hey, you look like Wally when you field that ball at shortstop. And that was the greatest compliment that they could give me. That was the greatest compliment, because that's who I grew up wanting to model my game after. And so those coaches were just so special to me. And Coach Jerry Johnson, I remember when I was trying to make a decision to go to Butte College, he told me, go for it. Go do it. You can do it. I wasn't sure. I was a little unsure, and he told me, go do it. You can do this. You can play. Coach Dennis Burnham, who cared about me as a person, as a young person. And it wasn't just my basketball coach, but, would have me over at the house. I wrecked my bike in front of his house and walked up to the front door bloodied up, and he took me in and called my folks and took care of me. And, just these people these coaches that meant so much to me. And I'm just so fortunate to have really some of the greatest patterns that I'll ever have in my life here with me today. Uncle Ken and Aunt Claudia, I'm very thankful for your love and support. The pattern that you all showed me at Roberts, and the commitment that you showed and the hard work, that didn't go unnoticed. And my mother and my father that are here, my mom, Gail, if you know my mother, Gail, if you don't, she's just a very special, she's a gem. And my father, Tim, who means so much to me, and they were, their faith in Christ, their commitment to one another, their commitment to their family, and the pattern that I saw made a huge difference in my life. And I saw my mother every morning when I would get up, I would see my mom, and she would be in the Word. She'd be reading Scripture, and that would resonate with me. And I see my dad get up day after day after day and go to work and help people. And give his life to other people to serve others. And I saw that commitment, their commitment to each other, when times were good, when times were tough. And they taught me how to stick with it. They taught me grit, and they taught me sacrifice and the importance of family. And that was so important to me, and it still is. And I believe that my greatest responsibility, my wife and my kids are at home tonight. They couldn't be here. And my wife makes tremendous amount of sacrifice for our family so that I can do this job and live this lifestyle. And I'm so grateful for her. I couldn't do it without her. She's at home with my kids. And my greatest responsibility, I believe, is to be a father and a husband. And I get to do that. And I had a great pattern. So I'm just very thankful. I know my time is up, but very, very thankful and appreciative of this honor. I don't take it lightly. And it's just great to be here with everyone, and thank you very much.
Okay, Nance, another drawing time. Get your tickets out.
Okay, somebody is really messing with the bags, because now there's a Keep This Coupon yellow ticket, which is also not a winner. Somebody's having a lot of fun. Anyway, this is the second package, and it's appropriate after Nick since it's the sports package. And there's shirts from LP and Oroville and baseball caps and all that stuff that we can give a cheer for. The number is, and Lori, if you win again, 113712. Way back there, I need a name. Gordon? Oh, it's Vern Reinhardt. Okay, gotcha, Vern. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Nance. Fred Thurston Huntington Sr. Fred graduated from Oroville High in 1931. Played football for 1 year. He was unable to play sports till he was a senior due to his working at his dad's laundry. He played the saxophone and clarinet in dance bands around the county on weekends. After high school, Fred joined his dad in the laundry business on High Street. In his spare time, was a dedicated shooter, but found it difficult to obtain quality bullets. However, after reading about making a die to I think S.W. Swage, when I did this, I always wondered how that was pronounced, and I'm not sure it's correct. 22 rimfire cartridge cases to form jackets for bullets. He began to craft his own dies in the back room of his father's laundry. These dies were machined from a Model T Ford axles from the junkyard. Little did he know that the book, along with an old lathe in the back room of the laundry shop, would be the start of a company that would eventually become known around the world for high-quality reloading equipment. Fred's own version of the above from his memoirs, and this is quote directly from him, his writing. 1 year out of high school, I found bullets, ammo and ammo components getting harder and harder to get and much more expensive overnight. I bought a book, Advanced Gunsmithing, and in there was a story on how to make 22 caliber bullets. On how to make a 22 caliber bullet making press and dies. I immediately was interested to try out on the old Seneca Falls lathe that my dad bought for $100. I had promised to make laundry parts that were becoming harder to get. I made a copy of Vickery's press and a set of dies. RCBS was actually founded by Fred in 1943 at age 31. Because the resulting bullets he crafted were used to shoot rock chucks, he named them Rock Chuck Bullet Swig dies and later shortened to RCBS. In 1948, he relocated the business to a small shop, the business rapidly spilling into his garage, and then in 1954 into a new building. RCBS dedicated itself to the craft of reloading ammunition and started with one simple bullet die. Today, Oroville is still home for state-of-the-art production for reloading equipment for rifles and pistols, offering reloading equipment throughout the world. Born and raised in Oroville, Fred was very proud of his community. He was a strong supporter of the YMCA, a generous donor over many years to the Pioneer Museum and the Chinese Temple. He passed away in 1988. Please welcome Oroville Union High School District Hall of Famer Kevin Brown, who will accept for the family.
Good evening. You're saying, wait a minute. Right? Well, it's an interesting story. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I'm here on behalf of the Huntington family. I'm accompanied with Kathy, the daughter-in-law of Fred Sr. Fred Jr. may be watching the video, I hope so, and the kids, Matt and Kelly. I had the unique opportunity to meet Fred Sr. When Fred and Kathy allowed me to live with them. And it was a very unique time and experience for me because of the fact of the times. And I am the embodiment of selfless love, unselfish love from Kathy's perspective to take me into her home, to still call me son to this day, right? And they are my family. And so I'm here tonight, very honored to accept this word on behalf of the Huntington family. I think back to the days that with Fred Sr., just going down to the car barn and things of that nature, and Matt and I did some things that we probably shouldn't have done. But we made it, right? So, again, I think all that has gone on tonight on behalf of the family, we say thank you to the Hall of Fame committee, to all the honorees on tonight. We are greatly honored, and, I'm just listening and seeing so many familiar faces. I grew up at Brantfield. I didn't recognize you, Sonny, because you look like me. And I was like, is that Sonny? And I'm looking at Matt and, Stephen, and, I'm just looking at Oroville. And this is what Oroville is all about. I mean, we have been interdependent for a very long time. Old Coach JJ's here tonight, and so many others. Talked with Nick and didn't even know who he was. We were both talking about our hair being on fire. But, I'll close it this way. Last year I was fortunate to be honored as a Hall of Fame inductee. And I thought about it when my brother and I were inducted together. We were greatly honored. But I thought about all of our accomplishments happen outside of Oroville. And I asked myself, Kevin, what did you do to go back and replenish the soil that you came out of? And I had to be boldly honest with myself. I didn't do anything. And so I took it upon myself. I met with Corey Willenberg and Mayor Chuck and talked with Mayor Pittman now. And we are now bringing a construction component, state-recognized pre-apprenticeship up into the Oroville. Corey Willenberg came down to one of our events last month, brought some students down to Sacramento to our job fair. And so we are very much anticipating coming home to really provide the same type of societal and communal change that I was afforded, that so many in this room tonight have been the benefactors for. And so I'm hoping that we who have been duly elected by the Oroville Union High School would really pause and ask ourselves, what value have we contributed, Nick? Can we go back into Oroville and help Oroville have a renaissance period? And so I say salute tonight. Kathy, we love you. You got to come up for the photo. You got to come for the photo. Ray, does she have to come up? Yeah. Come on, Kathy. Come on. Yeah, so my brother Matt is a baseball coach now, and he's coaching Little River, who's going to turn 10. And so when he first started coaching, I said, dude, you're going to get the bug. And he's like, no, I'm not. And so we have an annual event with 8 of us from childhood, have these things called Superstar Legend events. And so we haven't been able to have it this year because Matt's busy coaching baseball. So thank you tonight.
Jamal. Jim came to Oroville in 1974, accepting a job as news director at radio station KORV. He could not have predicted how far his radio voice would project or the impact it might have. He did not expect to stay in Oroville, but met his future wife Claudia here, and the rest is history. In 1984, the City of Oroville and the Oroville Economic Development Corporation hired a professional production company to produce an industrial recruitment video to send the business prospects considering relocating to Oroville. The city planned to unveil the video at a public showing at the State Theater. However, the announcer on the video kept calling it Oroville, O-R-V-I-L-L-E, California. So Jim was recruited to take the script to KHSL-TV and re-record it, knowing how to pronounce Oroville. Hence, he was given the title Voice of Oroville. Given that award in 1994, the night the video premiered. Jim's connection to Oroville Union High School District began in 1980 when he was named MC for the first ever Las Plumas High School Band Festivo. The event saw high school bands from all over the state come to Oroville to participate in an all-day event with parade competition in downtown Oroville and a halftime field show and competition throughout the day at Harrison Stadium. Jim was MC at the all-day event for 25 years. He was also an instrumental part of the Las Plumas Band Boosters Club, fundraising efforts to attend the World's Fair in Brisbane, Australia, serving as MC for the rubber ducky race on the Feather River and the cow patty party bingo game at Harrison Stadium. You remember those? Yeah. He was also, over the years, Jim donated his time as MC for countless numbers of LP and later combined high school band concerts and fundraisers. Other contributions to the district include MC at the Fellows Club of Oroville's Top 10 event for several years, MC at countless numbers of high school band concerts over many years, involvement with a locally born teenage group Axiom, a nonprofit program designed to build opportunities for local students to experience success and realize their unique potential. In 2009, Jim was presented with the Sam Norris Award for Excellence by the City of Oroville. The annual award was started by the city to recognize local residents for their outstanding efforts and commitments to improving the quality of life in Oroville. Jim and his wife of 47 years, Claudia, make their home in Oroville. Please welcome Jim Mall into the Oroville Union High School District Hall of Fame, class of 2023.
So unaccustomed as I am to speaking in public, first of all, I need to tell you that interview with Dick Fry was actually an hour and 5 minutes that we had to cut down to 7 minutes for the presentation. So if there were some things there that didn't make sense, it's because of the editing. And no, he did not have two wives at the same time, in case there was any question. Well, to say this is a great honor, sharing the stage with the other individuals who are being inducted in the Hall of Fame tonight is a significant understatement. Ray mentioned that I came to Oroville in 1974 in a car without air conditioning because I didn't think I'd live here very long. I thought I was going to find my fame and fortune elsewhere. Oroville's come a long way. When I came to town, we were a one zip code town. There were only 4 stop signals on Oro Dam Boulevard, and believe it or not, at the intersection of Oro Dam Boulevard and Olive Highway, it was a 2-way stop sign. Oro Dam Boulevard also went from 4 lanes to 2 to squeeze under the railroad underpass, which has since been replaced. The railroad underpass on Huntoon Street was a wood trestle with a wood supports in the middle of the street. That too has been changed. You know, I've had the great pleasure of crossing paths with nearly all of the inductees tonight, with the exception of Nick Harlan. This is my first opportunity to meet Nick, so I have something for you before you leave. I worked with Gordon Ando on the Oroville Cemetery District. When Gordon was mayor, I told him traffic in town was really growing, and he told me with a straight face, it's going to get worse. In my job at the radio station, I got to meet and interview Fred Huntington, who contributed so much to the economy of our community. I also got to see his beautiful collection of restored antique automobiles and also hear of his hunting adventures all over the world. Mert Thomas, another inductee tonight, initiated a Southside Community Improvement District. I remember him describing very clearly the pride in the area improvements, he said, was growing like sparks in dry grass. Barney and Catherine Gabriel were genuine and gentle souls and helped lift up so many individuals in our community. Clarence Brandt, Mr. B, helped introduce me to local baseball legends like Gary Nolan and Kevin Brown and Dave Hudgens and Jim Lauer. Glenn Dawson and his wife Carolyn, I believe, are among the most hardworking and dedicated people I've known. They helped instill pride, discipline, dedication, and leadership skills in young musicians for more than 3 decades. They touched countless lives and generations to come. One of those student musicians, not magicians, musicians, Terry Cote, was also honored this evening. I worked with Glenn and Carolyn for over 25 years with the Band Festivo Parade and Field Show, as well as concerts at the theater and at the high schools. I bet Glenn and Carolyn remember that it was always 90 degrees on that field show, and those young musicians were standing at attention during the entire awards presentation. It was really impressive. I've been very fortunate to continue working with the LP Oroville Alliance Band. Ray mentioned that I did the audio for the industrial recruitment video. I've made it very clear that my fee for doing all of those things is quite high, but I'm still willing to pay it. Well, I've got to tell you, a real thrill for Claudia and I was spending time with Dick Fry this last June. I went up in February for his 100th birthday. We had an opportunity to have lunch with him and sit through the interview in June. He's quite a guy, and I think he's actually able to watch this as it's happening live. He's quite a guy. So a couple of quick items before I close. I'd like to share some words from George Washington Carver, which I believe could serve as the theme for the Hall of Fame. And then I'd like to share one additional recognition. George Washington Carver said, "How far you go in life depends on your being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and strong, because someday in your life, you will have been all of those." I've been very blessed to be honored tonight, but most of that recognition also belongs to my wife, Claudia, of 47 years. Claudia is a 1968 Claudia is an OHS graduate of the class of 66. Amen. She's encouraged me every step of the way, has also kept me from overshooting my headlights on a number of occasions, and also shared my enthusiasm for all things Oroville. Music has always been a big part of our lives. One of our favorite songs is "Wind Beneath My Wings" and contains the lyrics which, for me, sums up our lives together. I was the one with all the glory. You were the one with all the strength. And from the song, "I Remember You," when my life is through and the angels ask me to recall the thrill of them all, I will tell them, "I remember you." Thank you again, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
No, Thank you, Jim. Mert Thomas Jr. Mert graduated from Oroville High School in 1948. He played baseball all 4 years and football, basketball, and track as a freshman. Right after graduation, he was employed at Hobby Chevrolet, detailing cars and assisting mechanics. He then attended Yuba College, majoring in accounting and earning his AA degree, then went on to study mathematics at San Francisco State. Mert joined the United States Army in 1951, serving 2 years in the 101st Airborne Infantry Division as a paratrooper during the Korean War. After the war, Mert began working in the Butte County Hospital in the housekeeping division. After an exemplary service, was promoted to head of housekeeping. He was well respected by management and staff and wore many hats, such as driving the hospital ambulance, transporting patients to and from Sacramento, the Bay Area, and as far as Los Angeles. During the summer months, Mert worked 2 jobs, as supervisor at the hospital during the day and working the night shift at the cannery. When the hospital closed, Mert began working full-time at the cannery as a warehouse supervisor. Did that until his retirement in 1998, 50 years after graduating from Oroville High School. Church activities played an important part in Mert's life. After moving to Oroville, he joined the Taylor Memorial Christian Episcopal Church and worked tirelessly, becoming a minister for 15 years. In 1989, he was honored by the prestigious title of church elder. He was also a member of the 9th Episcopal Church District in San Francisco and known there as Mr. Oroville. Mert's public service life began in the 80s when he accepted his first position as City Park Commissioner. In the mid-80s, he was the first African American elected to the Oroville City Council, the first to serve as vice mayor, and then the first and only to ever serve as mayor of Oroville. After serving as mayor for 1 year, he retired from public service. In 1999, Mert received dual awards as Citizen of the Year and Humanitarian of the Year. His community service, extensive. Upon Mert's passing, Butte County Sheriff and Hall of Famer Perry Renouf wrote, "He was a friend. It was a heck of a loss for the community. There were many times, countless times in fact, when we called upon Mert for his assistance in community relations problems and projects in the Southside neighborhood. I can't begin to express the value of his efforts or the impact of his loss." Mert passed away on October 14th, 2001. He married his high school sweetheart, Lorraine Stovall, who just recently passed away at age 97. They had 6 daughters and 1 son. Please welcome Mert's daughter, Sherry, who will accept Hall of Fame induction for her father, Mert. Sherry? Congratulations to you.
Thank you. My mother was 95. We just recently laid her to rest, and she's ready. She's happy. She's with my dad. And there were 7 of us. My 2 older siblings have laid to rest. And now I'm the oldest now. And then I have my other siblings that's left. Marilyn Thomas, Queen Yvonne, and Rochelle Thomas, and Michael Thomas. Michael, Letha, and Yvonne is back there. And I'm Sherry Thomas. I'm Mert's 3rd eldest daughter. And the most important part of my dad's life was being a great husband to our mom, Mrs. Lorraine Thomas, and a father to his children and his ministry, to his church. My dad was very outgoing and funny. He loved to swim, hence, we all had to take swimming lessons. Because he said, you get in that water, you're going to sink or swim. And he proved the point. We used to go down to bedrock, and it was to be a cement thing that went out like that. I know people think it's dangerous now, but back then we didn't know no better. And he would literally throw us off of it. And he said, dog paddle. And so we were, and little did we know how an excellent swimmer my father was until we saw him dive off the cliff. And when he did, he was right there in the water right behind us, but we didn't know that. And so we had a lot of fun down there. We took swimming lessons at Feather Plunge. I don't know who can remember that place. My sister Belinda and I, we took lifeguard lessons there by the time we were 14, and they put me in a baby pool. So I got to watch the babies. My mom and dad let us play sports, sing in the church choir, run track. We played football, first string defense. Thank you very much. And I just celebrated my 50th OHS reunion right here in this room just a few days ago. And my football coaches, Greg Passmore and Kevin Harina, those were my coaches. And we had a lot of fun. And my father said, pack your bags, and we are going to visit family. He always made sure we knew family. And because of it, we knew about he and our mom. And their life, he wanted us to learn who we are, where we came from, where he came from, where she came from. That was very important to him. And believe it or not, in Charlotte, Arkansas, is a museum, and it's a little book where there was 9 children, gifted children, in this little classroom, and now that book is in a museum with my father's signature. And so we had a lot of fun with my father. He was a teacher. He was a minister. He was a dad. He was a true dad. And we had so much fun with him. We would travel from Oroville to the Bay Area to Los Angeles, and we would go visit our families. We knew who they were, what side of the family they were on, whether it was my mom or my dad, and we all just really enjoyed learning all these things from him. Dad, and this is from my sister Letha, Dad will always be my hero. He taught me how to never give up, be the best I can be. Dad and I had our special times together watching Westerns and sports. He encouraged my family time at home, games, reading, Nancy Drew, and studying the Bible. going to church together, love, family time. When he'd barbecue, most in my heart, family and God. That was from my sister Aletha. And my sister Rochelle, who couldn't be here. Our father was the most loving, kind, generous, nurturing father that anyone could ever imagine. My dad loved teaching us on every subject of education and life. English, spelling, and grammar around the dinner table most days. On other subjects, if you did not know, he was right beside you while you searched in our library, and we had one, of encyclopedias. But most of all, Dad made sure we knew N, E, S, and W, all north, east, south, and west. When given driving lessons, yes, I remember. My dad made me feel safe always. To me, his presence was larger than life, his love as deep and as wide as the ocean. And that was from his baby girl. I want to thank OHS, Ray C. Horn, and the principal. I want to thank everyone for doing this for our dad. I know he's been given a lot of awards, but the Hall of Fame for Oroville, that's the one that touched our hearts. So I want to thank you.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, another drawing.
I think our friend ran out of coupons because there's none in here. I've looked and looked. Okay, whoops, I accidentally pulled two. Okay, the number, this is for the quilt. That beautiful quilt is made every year by our committee member, Lonnie Fredericks. It's different every year, we never know. It's beautiful. And the number is 113786. Who is that? I can't see. Yeah, it's over there. Okay, I'm going to dump them all together real quick, and we're going to draw for the door prize, which is tickets for next year's dinner, if you can sit through another few hours. Here we go, one more time. And the number is 113827. Did you win? No? I just need to make sure I get your name so that we will give you those. I can't give them to you tonight because we don't have them, of course, for next year. But I need to get your name before you leave. Sandra Tillman. Thank you.
Okay, this was a very unique class of 23. 2 Oroville mayors, a teacher-student professional music duo, the voice of Oroville, the first African-American yellow cab owners in the United States, our first induction of an alumni age 100, one of the founding fathers of the Oroville Little League, the second OHS alum to ever be a Division I head baseball coach, and the founder of a worldwide company. Not bad for coming out of this little town. So at this time, class of 2023, if you're present, I'd ask you to please stand, and a representative from each of the families of inductees who are not here also please stand. Stay standing, please. Please remain standing. You have all achieved. You have all served. You have each received, and you have each given back. You have each earned well-deserved recognition, awards, citations, decorations, and been highly honored during your lives. Tonight, the Oroville Union High School District has bestowed on you its highest honor by inducting you into its Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is for life, and from now on, you will be ever known as Hall of Famers. Our warmest congratulations to each of you. Thank you. Couple more things. You can sit down now. 12 years ago today in this very room, a little lady named Bobby Richter. How many remember Bobby? Yeah, a few. Bobby Richter, I was getting ready to end everything, and Bobby jumps up out of her chair and leading a cheer said, "I'm going to leave a cheer for Oroville." I was going, "Okay, Bobby." Bobby, she was probably 90 years old at the time. And so anyway, she started a tradition. And Hall of Famer and District Attorney Mike Ramsey has carried that tradition on admirably ever since. So, Mike, I think Nancy has one thing to say before.
Yeah, Mike has had help in the past that had spelling issues. And so Mike didn't have the spelling issues, but the others did. Anyway, they're not with us this evening through different things. And so I'm to help Mike out, because he was hesitant to be by himself. I would like all the old cheerleaders from whatever school you went to. If you were a cheerleader, I want you to stand up. And we're going to help Mike spell Oroville. Because this is not just for Oroville High School. This is for Las Plumas High School and Prospect High School. So this is for the town. All old cheerleaders, stand up. There we go. All right, Mike.
All right. We have to recognize two people that unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, and that was the cheerleader, Paula Filippi, that got me involved in this. And she's watching from her home in Oregon. and certainly our grand lady, Judy McInturf, who is also watching. She couldn't be here tonight, but Judy is the one that had the spelling issue. And I will never, ever let her forget that as a longtime teacher. Now, this is the Oroville High School cheer, but quite frankly, we've hijacked it for this program and for all of the Oroville High Schools. Oroville High School, Las Plumas, Prospect, all of those schools that have produced just an amazing group of people. This community, this diverse community, over the decades has had people from our school district go out, our little old Oroville, go out into the world and make a mark, and make marks nationally, internationally, and then here at home. So I was looking at what makes Oroville so unique that we celebrate it. And I figured, well, it must be the water. So I brought the water up. And the only one that didn't grow up the water is that mall character. But he at least had a class of 66, so Oroville High graduate that drug him along to all of our reunions. But folks, please, all of you tonight, we are all Oroville. And what a remarkable, remarkable community. And so, here we go. And so, we will start. Folks, give me an O. O. Give me an R. R. Give me another O. O. Give me a V. V. Give me an I. I. Give me an L. L. Give me another L. L. Give me an E. E. What's that spell? Oroville. What's that spell? Oroville. What's that spell? Congratulations, Oroville.
You are permanent dude. Okay, just a little bit of finish up. Mike, you got a permanent job. Next year, Paula will be back. And having the cheerleaders come up here, outstanding, Nancy. Hall of Fame committee, please stand. Big thanks to Tom Aldridge, Lonnie Frederick, Nancy Gilbert, Scott Johnson, Doug Kalin, Barbara Little, Judy McInturf, Nancy Negri, and Bob Zollner. Also, just let me finish. We got some honorees. All sponsors of the raffle baskets: Dean Gurr, our photographer; Lynn Eve, Feather Falls Casino; Kira Gottsman, Oroville Mercury Register; Jason Houston for the slideshows; North State Audio Visual over here for the sound and the slideshows; and Jamie Martinez and Paula Blaney. Quite simply, they made it possible. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
So you're the one I called, and Aaron was.
I said, I'm the one you called.